We are the weirdos, mister.
It is Monday, which means it's Movie Monday. Of course it is, because alliteration. Anyways, hi, what's up? It's me, Audra, and on this channel, I do whatever I feel like doing, and today, we are going to talk about a movie because I just watched it. I took no notes. It broke my heart multiple times. I'm still here, but I am a little anxious because it was so stressful watching the movie. And because I need something to do with my little fingers, I'm going to put makeup on. Also, I want to do a few things today. So it's not going to be like, will you be able to see what I'm doing on my face? Probably not. Why? Because this is a hobby and my lighting is negotiable. All right, so movie in question, The Very Thought of You, starring Anne Hathaway and Nikki G. I can't listen. His name is Nicholas. And the thing is, he was also in a movie that I did a video on a while back, Purple Hearts. And it just ends with him, like with her yelling, like, I love you, as he's like driving off on the prison bus. And it's like the end. And then it's a montage. He married old girl for money, and she married him to get health care because she had diabetes. So if you want to see that video, I will attempt to pretend like I'm going to put it in one of these things that are on either side of my head. I don't know that I'll do it because if you didn't know this, I also have autism and ADHD. I'm an ADHD baddie, so you're welcome. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing about this movie, okay? I went in a little unprepared, but also I watched this because Anne Hathaway is one of those actresses with which most movies that she's in, I live vicariously through her. For my neurodivergent folks who are like that, who just like live their lives vicariously through other people, let me know in the comments which actresses you do that with. Anne Hathaway is one of them. And I was excited to see this movie because it's an age gap romance. And it also has the celebrity like aspect of it. I know we're like blocking them right now, but listen, I fell in love with a celebrity romance. And so here we go. Now, I might have to rewind a couple of times as I'm telling you this story. Don't get mad at me. I mean, you can be like, why didn't you take notes? And I would be like, I know, why didn't I? And we're going to move on. So movie starts out, we see Anne Hathaway taking her daughter to her dad's house, to the husband's house, her ex-husband's house. And here's the thing, why didn't I bring a mirror? Because I don't have any sense and I'm too beautiful for words. Anyways, so the point is that you can clearly see that the two of them have a contentious relationship, and that apparently his wife, because of course the ex-husband, I don't know if he's remarried or if he's just like with her wife, girlfriend. I don't remember. It's not, listen. And you can clearly see that she's younger. And even if you can't really see it, you can tell by the way that the ex-husband has conversations with her, like with Anne Hathaway. And I recognize this man, and I feel like he almost always plays a douchebag. But now that I say this, I'm gonna have to look it up. I'm so sorry. Please allow me a second because I can't function if I don't know who he is. Because I kept recognizing his face and I was like, why do I recognize this man? Oh my God, I completely forgot about the 1998 Very Thought of You, and I loved that. The Idea of You. I am a jackass. I'm not redoing the intro. I'm just gonna tell you now that the name of the movie is actually The Idea of You. Let me live. All right, so anyways, I've got to figure out who this man is.
15 minutes later.
Reed Scott. I feel like he played like a doctor or somebody douchey somewhere, and I can't, no, not Venom, not Why Women Kill. View all, let's see. My Boys. That's it. He was on My Boys. For those of you who don't know, it was a show I watched back in the day. That's it. That was why I remember it, because he played Brendan. That's it. I remember, and he was like this kind of boy. Anyways, point is, don't turn that off. We want to make sure we give our streamers some love. Anyways, listen, there's stuff on my fingers. I can't help. Anyway, now that we've had that fun little detour, that is her ex-husband. And he's all just like, saying things like stoked because he's taking the kiddos to Coachella, because obviously that is what all like ex-husbands who left their wives and have children, and they like left their wives and they're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be cool dad now because I have a younger woman in my life. And so that's obviously what he's doing. He's like, I'm gonna take you to Coachella, that way you're gonna forget that I ever cheated on your mom. Anyways, I'm going to hell. Also, voice raspy. I'm just still getting over the ick. Anyway, so Anne Hathaway is prepared. Listen, I'm going to call them by their government names. Let me live my life. Thank you. Anne Hathaway is going to go camping in the woods to find herself because she's in her 40s or 4D, whatever. And she's like, my kid's going to be gone. And so this is a great opportunity for me to find myself in the woods or whatever. Couldn't be me, because I'm not gonna find myself in the woods, you know what I mean? Like, period. Like, not only am I not gonna find myself figuratively, I'm not going to literally find myself in the woods. It's not gonna happen. I don't enjoy the woods. I don't enjoy nature like that. Like, I like that nature exists. I don't want to be in it. So she's like packing up her bags and she's getting ready to go. Here comes dad. And you know what? Of course he's got an excuse. Do you know what I mean? He can't go is the situation. He can't go because whatever businessy thing that he does, he obviously something is blowing up with one of his businessman deals. And he's like, oh no, I can't take the kids to Coachella. And kids with an S, because it's Anne Hathaway's daughter, Izzy, and her name is Celine. There we go. Her name is Celine. I'm going to say Celine. It's French, and I'm not doing it right. Don't come for me, French speaking folks. I tried. I took 2 years of French until my ADHD ruined it for the teacher. She was a bitch. Anyways, so, Anne Hathaway's like, fine. And she's like, okay. So she takes the kids to Coachella and they run off, and they're going. Her dad got her like VIP access to see August Moon, which is like this boy band. And Anne Hathaway she ends up going into like the little VIP lounge or whatever because she's just waiting for the kiddos. And she talks to some weird lady who's like, obviously a fan, but she's like an adult lady. That's the only way I can explain it. She's a fan, but she's an adult lady. And as an adult lady, she's over here just being like, you're a moonhead. That's the name of their fans, moonheads, which I can't. I think that's correct. I could be wrong. I will double check it after this is over, and I'll see if I can edit in whether or not that is what they're called. Again, no notes. I just watched it. Let me live. So there's Anne Hathaway in there with this lady and just kind of feeling a little awkward and wants to just like kind of leave because Anne Hathaway's just like, oh no, I'm here with my daughter, and her dad. She's like, oh, your daughter. Like the other lady's like, oh, which one is your daughter's favorite? I'm like, y'all setting this movie up a little weird for me, but okay. So, any who's it's. Anne Hathaway's like, oh, anyways, do you know where the bathroom is? Because you're weird. She doesn't say that, but that is what she's feeling. She's like, you know where the bathroom is? And the woman's like, oh yeah, the bathrooms are out there and the VIP ones are over here. I don't know anything about Coachella. I didn't know that there were VIP bathrooms, and that's just wild to me. Like, how are the bathrooms VIP? Is it just because it's like not a porta potty? Which that would be VIP to me, if I'm going to be perfectly honest, because I hate porta potties. I will not use them. I would rather die a slow death. I really would. And probably holding my pee like that, I'm going to. It's fine. So anyways, off she goes, and she goes into what she thinks is the bathroom, knocks on the door. You hear a man be like, oh, hold on. And he opens the door and he's like, hi. And she's like, hi. Not with like the exact tongue movement, but she was very like, oh, because it's Nikki G, And so she's over there like kind of looking at him like a little, like he is on the menu. He's looking at her like she's on the menu. And she's like, do you mind? And he's like, oh, you want to use the bathroom? And she's like, yeah. And we're also like, even as the audience, you're like, girl, this is not, this is the guy from August Moon. Anyways, so she's using the bathroom. And she comes out and sees that he's still sitting there because he like proceeds to like grab a soda and all this stuff, and he's still sitting there. And she's like, "You're not a weirdo who likes to, you're not one of those weirdo ASMR people who like to listen to people pee." And is that a thing? Because I'm not gonna kink shame anyone, but that's not for me. Do you know what I mean? That's not for me. It's okay if you like that. It's okay. No one, least of all me, is gonna bother. I live vicariously through other people's romantic lives, and their fake romantic lives at that. So I have zero room to judge you. Anyway, this is where he like drops the bomb. Like, I'm Hayes. I feel like his name is Hayes. It's Nikki G. So and she's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I did not mean to like bust up into your little space. Like, please forgive me if I act a little strange, for I know now what I do. So she's like, my God, I'm sorry. Let me like get out. He's like, no. Come have a drink. Like, chill, relax. You're fine as fuck. He doesn't say that, but I would. If Anne Hathaway rolled up into my trailer and was like, I have to use the restroom. I mean, like, again, she's one of my ace passes, all right? She's one of my ace passes where I'd be like, girl, sit on my But just as they're getting a little like cute or whatever, like the wardrobe people come in, everybody's coming in, like it's time for you to get on stage, and here's where things get a little, like, I don't know how to decide if it's like weird or if it's fun. This is gonna be fun. I can't decide if it's weird or if it's fun, but like they're all having to like dress him, I guess. And here, this is one thing that I'm gonna say really bothered me like a lot. It shouldn't have. It just did. It just did bother me. It again shouldn't have. It just did, because he got like Tag Heuer, or however you say their name. I don't care. It's a brand I'm never gonna afford, and I don't care to. It sounds very yacht-like, so like not my cup of tea. Like, it just sounds like something that somebody who like gets on yachts a lot wears, and I don't want my life to be about that. So, and then that's fine. You know what I mean? If you enjoy yachts, if you enjoy getting on yachts, so if you enjoy yachts, you can do that life. I think that I would get seasick very easily. I don't care to get on a yacht. And that's fine, okay? Don't feel bad for me. Don't be like, oh my God, you can't get on a yacht. Anyways, so we have this situation. Anne Hathaway just kind of like politely like slides away, like, okay, well, that was a cute little moment or whatever. And then she is like going to the meet and greet that the kiddos' dad paid for. You know, she's like, okay, here we go, babes. Are y'all coming? And they're late. And he's like kind of looking at her and like, you know, the side like smile, like, hey girl, I see you're here. And she's like, no, it's not not me. And starts introducing the fans or whatever, like the rest of his bandmates to her. But he's like, and this is, and she still doesn't give a name. And the kiddos roll up. They're like, oh my God, hi mom. And she's like, hey, how y'all doing? They're doing well. And so they're all introducing themselves. It's very cute or whatever. And she finally gives her name, and it's Celine, and it's so cute and so sexy. And I'm like, girl, listen, I would not be able to handle myself if I'm going to be perfectly honest, because if someone that fly, that sexy, that beautiful, like was coming up and like, listen, I'm going to lose my shit. I promise. I'm going to lose it. Ooh, this is perfect because now I can finally wash this brush 3 weeks from now. Anyway, so he now knows her name, and her daughter is like, oh my God, you should come to my mom's, like she owns an art gallery or whatever. And they always do in these kinds of movies. Listen, I need to explain something to you. The reason why women are often artists in movies like this and rom-coms in general is because artists can like pick up and go places. That's the real reason. They can just like pick up and leave. Like, do you own an art gallery? Fine, you can leave because you got to go find art or whatever. Like, it gives them a reason to just be like leaving a space. Anyway, that being said, they have their little meeting. He's singing. He does a little song dedication because the kiddos go like see them perform at Coachella. Again, I don't understand how Coachella works. I'm never gonna know how Coachella works. I'm okay with that being my life. That's fine. Because I just feel like at this point, is it even a concert anymore? I think the answer is no, but no one will tell me. And I haven't actually asked anybody. It's fine. I'm like, I've never even actually asked. I can't do it. It's too much. Anyways, I'm sorry about all the, but I find the snap sound to just be like really satisfying to my spirit and my soul. And I'm sorry if it makes you feel terrible, but I can't stop doing it. So, anyways, dedicates the thing, and she's just like, oh, that was fun. I met like a hot young dude. He's 24. So she's like going back to her life, and her daughter is going to camp at some point. I don't know if it's now or later, but her daughter is 16 and she's going to go to camp. Another quick side note, I really like that in this movie, they didn't do that thing that they do way too often, which I hate. And the thing that they do too often that I hate is when they make teenagers like little adults. And I really like that they had, I don't know whose idea it was, like they need an award, but I really like that whoever decided on this was like, yeah, let's make sure that the 16-year-old is an actual 16-year-old, like not the ones that we get from like, sorry, this Givenchy is so fragrant. It's so fragrant. But basically they're like, we don't want Gossip Girl teenagers. We want Saved by the Bell teenagers. You know what I mean? And I actually really like that because in 2024, it's so rare that we get like a teenage experience that isn't just them being, you know, two adults. You know what I mean? It's just not that. Anyways, I could turn on this other light so that you could see things more, but I can't do it because I really can't stand the light that's on right now. And I'm struggling. Anyways, so the point is, Anne Hathaway is at her art gallery when she's like at her like in her office at her art gallery, and in comes like one of her employees, I guess. I don't know her name. Maybe it's Carol. Who cares? So she comes in. She's like, Celine, you're needed out front. And Celine's like, oh, okay, well, just let me finish like, I don't know what she's doing on her computer as an art gallery owner, and I don't know about art gallery owning life. So whatever it is, it's I had no idea that they do these things. But anyways, employee's like, no, girl, like you really need to come out here, like out here now. So out Celine goes, and who would be there but Nikki G from August Moon. That's the name of the band. And he is this perfectly pasty Englishman. I live for it. He's always just like pale and British. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's good. It's good. I'm not mad that it's happening. It's one of those things where I'm like, I'm so glad that this is happening because maybe. So anyway, he's there. He buys the whole art gallery, and she's just like, kind of like, what are you even doing? Like, this isn't for fun and games. Like, I'm an artiste and art is important, and it would not be me because first of all, I wouldn't have to work for the rest of the year. Are you kidding? He bought all the art. I mean, I know it's local artists, but that doesn't mean that it's like all cheap. So he bought the whole freaking gallery. And anyway, she ends up taking him to another little spot in Glendale, which he's like, I've always wanted to see Glendale. And they get there, he's like asking her questions, looking at art. There's a particular painting there that's really pretty and she loves it. And she's like, it makes me feel everything. And you're like, yes. And he's like, so anyway, I'm hungry. And you can see that he's like, keeps trying to like move things in a more personal direction. And she's trying to be like, art, I'm selling you art, not me, not my titties. So anyway, she was gonna go take him to eat the food at a restaurant, but obviously he's too famous. Also, my hair is struggling. I'm about to get it redone. Boho braids is not for me, babes. It's not. I'm just too messy. I'm a messy bitch. It's working out poorly. It looks gorgeous as soon as it's done, but literally within like 15 minutes, I'm just like, it's tangled. Send help. So I'm just gonna get like regular, the same color. I'm blonde all summer. Same color, curls on the ends, no boho. You didn't ask, but you got that information. Anyway, instead they end up going to have sandwiches at her house because he's too famous to go to a restaurant. And they get there, her fridge is apparently messed up. It goes on the fritz. We don't really know why, but it makes for like a cute little thing where he drinks spoiled milk. Gross. And they make sandwiches, delicious. They start having like conversation. He's asking her some personal questions. I don't know why I've started using this like weird, terrible French accent. I apologize, but also, no, I do not. He's just like, hey, we're two traumatized people just trying to like get to know each other. Like we should open up. And he's like, what's the worst that can happen? And she's like, oh, what's the worst that could happen? What's the worst that could happen? And proceeds to tell him about like her and her husband breaking up and what happened there, that she was telling a frivolous story about somebody who was, what the fuck is that on my head? Baby, did you all see that? What was that? It's like a fuzzball. Oh yeah, because I dropped that brush. I'm an idiot. Listen, move past it. We're just, okay. Anyway, and she's like, what? And so she starts telling him the story that she was telling a frivolous tale about another couple who the husband cheated or whatever, and like the room suddenly goes silent and she begins to realize like this is awkward. Like, you know, when you walk into a room and everybody gets quiet because you know they were talking about you. And she's like looking at her husband and he just like won't look at her. I think his name is Edward in this movie, but I'm not positive. Anyway, and so they get home and she asks him, you know, are you cheating on me? And he just like won't answer. Well, he does. He does answer. He tells her about Eva, his new girlfriend / wife. I'm not sure if she's his wife. I can't remember. Leave me alone. And in that, she's like, Anne Hathaway says that she was super nice about everything and was just like, we can just forget all of this happened and move forward because, you know, they met young, they had a child, like blah-de-doo. However, bro does not really want to forget. He does not want to do that. And then they ended up getting divorced. That happened 3 years ago. And she tells the story to a man who's 24. And then, you know, he's like, that's fucking terrible. You know, basically he's like, that's terrible. I'm sorry that happened to you. Love is weird. And I was like, facts, bro. So then he's like playing the piano. She gets a phone call and then he's playing the piano, a smidgy bit. And she's like, oh, what are you playing? Like, don't stop. It's great. Like, whatever. And he's like, oh, you know, it's just something. And they start kissing. And she's like, no, I'm too old for you. He's like, no, you're not. And he pulls her in for another kiss. Baby, I would have folded as soon as he said, no, you're not. I would not have had the strength. Because Nikki G and his pale little ass and his like little smirks do something for my spirit. Like he's in the bank. And when I tell you, like, as soon as he's like, no, you're not, I would be like, ugh. You're right. Let's do it. And so anyways, but she pulls away again from another like sexy kiss. And she's just like, I could be your mother. And he like pulls in. He's like, but you're not. Oh, I would have folded that too. And then she's like, no. Can I drive you back to your hotel? And he's like, no, my driver's outside. And she's like, okay, well, she walks towards the door. This man takes off his watch and like leaves it, like she doesn't see it happening, but he takes off his watch and he just like leaves it on one of them, you know, them entryway tables that people got. Like my mom has one. I've always tried to have one. I can't do it because I'm like, what do you even put on here? Trash. So he leaves a hostessory behind. This man is serious because he was like, no, you're not going to forget me. Okay. We need to talk. You are fine. And he told her that too, that she was hot. He's like, you are fine. Okay. Why can't we just, you know, that's my sound for the sexy times. So I don't get in trouble. And also because I just like making that noise, please. So anyway, off he goes. And you know, there she is just sitting there. And then she turns around, she sees his hostessory and is like, damn, I'm gonna have to do something about his hostessory. Anyways, please hold. So now you have, Anne Hathaway is just like chilling, she's trying to relax and like get past it. Her daughter has gone away to camp. Again, I really like that they did that, like normal 16-year-old. Like I just like that she's still a kid because I hate the way movies these days have been like making and have been doing it for a little while where it's like teenagers are like these like weird adults, and I just want them to like recognize that just because you're 16 doesn't mean like you're so odd and like really adult about things when you probably wouldn't be and shouldn't be, honestly, because you're 16. And also because like her parents went through a like rough divorce and all of this stuff, and she knows her dad cheated. So I think it's good not to make her like this weird adult child, and to weird adult child, and keeping her being and enjoying being a kiddo. That being said, Now we're gonna start getting into the nitty gritties. So there's Anne Hathaway home alone. She's getting texts from her friends, and then she gets a text from you know who. You know, because of course he's got connections, he can get her number, etc. And he texts her being like, come to New York. And she's like, so of course she does. And she brings the watch. Listen, the way my spirit like just unfurled as soon as it happened, especially when you see her walking in. Like, I don't know why they do this with women all the time. I get why, because it's hot. She's like going into this fancy hotel. She's got on a trench coat, baby. She's walking past like his security, goes in the room. She's like, oh, I've got your watch. And he's like, And he's just like, it looks better on you. And, you know, he is actually not wrong on that front, because it does look better on her. They do it, you know what I mean? They do it. But before they do it, when she takes this coat off, when I tell you, Anne is like, body is tea. Just gorgeous, glorious, just And he fiddles her faddle, okay? He fiddles her faddle, and she has an explosive O. And then they continue like their sexcapades. They order like room service. It's so cute. She orders a cookie plate, BLT. Like, they're being real cute or whatever. And he's just like, come on tour with me. Like, what's the, you know, your daughter? He knows about her daughter. He's like, your daughter's at camp. Like, it can't be like a big deal, right? Like, just come hang out. Come be on tour, babes. And she's like, he's like, it's fine. I'll just say you're like my art consultant. And she's like, okay. He's like, we all have secrets. It's fine. So she's like, all right. And next thing you know, we have montages of Anne, you know, out with him on the side of the stage and being able to hear him sing. And they're just doing fine ass shit. And it's like really cute, you know? They're having a cute ass time. And there's some photos are taken when they're in Paris. We don't know what's going to happen with them, but we know it's not going to be good. But somebody's taking photos. And here's where it gets like, ugh. Okay, oop, I just blinked like an idiot. I got to stop talking.
Thank you, Dr. Roxo, for being with us.
But now she's at this hotel, or like there's a break-in touring. So she's at the hotel, at a house somewhere. I don't know if it's France. I feel like it is France, because it's got to be France, because that's where the photos are taken, where they're like making out, being cute or whatever. And he kisses her in public, and she's like, bro, that is some reckless shit you were doing, because baby, like, you know, we're keeping things chill, very relaxed. She's hanging out, and they're at this like house in Nice or whatever. I don't know. France, Italy, it's the same difference to me at this point. Sorry. Am I? Anyway, but his bandmate Ollie, and like, well, first of all, she gets like insecure because he left a swimsuit out for her. But then she like sees the young girls in their like swimsuits, like the 20-year-old, and feels like some kind of way. As you know, this happens a lot with women in general. Like, women in general and people who are socialized and raised as women have like always have this sensation that you're like not attractive enough, you're not beautiful enough, your body isn't tea. And so it's like you see somebody and it becomes like super duper easy to like let that define you, which you shouldn't do, but it becomes very easy to let that define you and stress you out. And now all of a sudden you're over here having like a panic when you shouldn't be, because you're fine as fuck. Just calm down, but you can't, because, you know. So she comes out there dressed. It's ridiculous. I wish I could put scenes in here, but Amazon is super weird. Last time I checked, if I can, I will. But Amazon is one weird. They don't want to be successful, and they don't let you use any. For me, anyway, I'm not technologically savvy enough to figure it out. But I can never figure out how to like screen grab some of it so I can live my life. If anybody knows how, just let me know. Like, secretly in the DMs, tell me how. I'm ace and aromantic, so don't be trying that, but let me know. But then everybody's being super mean and like really trying to make her feel small and ugly. I don't know why. Because it's obvious the girls don't have anything really against her. I think that's one of the things. These brushes are dirty, bitch. That's why they're there, because you gotta wash them. Anyway, it's kind of a weird scene for me just generally because I don't understand why the girls are being mean, especially in 2024, and why they're like trying to help make her feel small, especially because of the fact that like none of them have an interest in Nikki G. Like none of them want him. So why are they being mean? To move the story along, if we're gonna be perfectly honest, that's why. But I hated it, and I was like, why are you doing this to me? Because I hate it so much. Like y'all are hurting my feelings for why. So at this point, Anne Hathaway is just like, I gotta go. Like this is enough. Like I should not be out here hanging out with 20 somethings. Like we had fun. Like I gotta leave. And Nikki G is out here like, babes, I'm writing music. You know, I enjoy spending time with you. Like, why wouldn't you want to say? She's like, listen, it's not my scene. I gotta go. Okay. Which is, you know, her prerogative, but she should just admit, like, listen, I'm intimidated by young women. Also, they really made it seem like he does this a lot. Like he's dated another older woman, and they really like did this whole thing where they were kind of talking about the older woman in this like really derogatory way, like she wouldn't leave and he was afraid to break up with her. And I really didn't like that either. Like y'all bitches are mean for no reason. Like what in the world possessed all y'all to just be nasty? Like your parents did not raise you right. I promise you that. So they're out here being raised wrong and being mean for reasons, and we're all just supposed to put up with it. And he says something to the effect of like, are you ashamed? And Anne Hathaway just agrees and says like, yes, I am ashamed. And then she's like, and he's like, well, I'm gonna have to find somewhere to sleep, and I will have a plane ticket for you in the morning. Like you can get the fuck out of here. Like he doesn't say that, but he's devastated though. And you know what, honestly, so are you. In this scene, like when I tell you, like my heart started like doing that thing where it's like, I was just like, please don't let this happen. Please don't do this to me. I can't handle it. They did it. And I promise you, this show did this to me on purpose because they knew that it would hurt me specifically. And I hated that for me. So anyways, Anne is like sad or whatever and just kind of like depressed because she's just like, I can't believe I did all this shit. It was wild. Like I was having a nice time. Like whatever. And oh, come on, you bitches. Okay, maybe I have to do it like some other way. I don't know why I'm doing this. I'm just seeing if it'll work. I'm just seeing if things will stick without glue because I'm a monster. So anyways, somehow, like I guess it gets out like publicly that they were together or something, and her ex-husband kind of finds out. She ends up talking about it with her daughter, and her daughter's just like, why? Oh, yeah, it gets out. I forgot. Okay, let me rewind. She breaks up. We have the breakup. It's like, oh no. Why am I like this? So they have the breakup, and she's home, and she gets a text from old boy just being like, I don't know how this happened. Don't look online, right? He's like, just don't look on the internet. She's like, bish, what? And so she, I guess, doesn't, because listening is something she can do. Couldn't be me. I would never listen. I would be like, if you tell me not to do something, I'm immediately gonna do it. Like, unless it's something I don't want to do, but I'm immediately gonna check. Like, I can't help it. It's who I am as a person. I promise you, I'm just gonna immediately be like. So basically it was found out that they were like kissing or whatever. She's the mystery woman, and now she's just like, great, now it's public, everybody knows that I was like hooking up with this guy. I'm 40. So awkward. And now what's worse is she's got to go pick her daughter up at camp. And when she shows up at camp, she's getting like this weird hero's welcome by other women. And can I just say, they were weird for that. Like, you're my hero. What? Y'all. Some of y'all need to like read a romance novel or do something, because y'all are being weird. Anyways, her daughter is obviously upset. Not so much that she's having a relationship or had a relationship with him, but that she lied to her, because she was like, you know, dad lied. Look where that got us. He, you know, I didn't appreciate that. I don't appreciate it from you. And so daughter Izzy is team go get your man. And once our girl discovers that Nikki G is in the recording studio in LA, she decides to go talk to him and be like, listen, I was being a bitch. like I did not mean to hurt you. You know, I just really wasn't prepared for all of this. And I just felt like, you know, this is super awkward and I'm older, like, etc. Like, blah, blah. And he was like, girl, I'm gonna have to think about this because like this is a lot, and like da-da. And he does what I was hoping he would do, and when I tell you my heart just exploded into a million pieces of joy, he's like, all right, I've thought about it, I've had my moment. And then they're kissing, and the next thing you know, they're in a relationship. We get kind of like this montage of them traipsing around town or whatever, and they had decided as a group, like her daughter and her daughter's friends had all decided that they were absolutely not going to read tabloids. Understandable, because doing so is like really bad for your mental health if you're in some kind of relationship like that. Oh, Jesus. Imagine me dating somebody famous is what I would say. Nightmare for all is what I'm getting at. It would be a nightmare for everyone because number one, I would never be good at being famous. No, ever. Not for any like particular reason. Well, there's multiple reasons. One of them, I poop in public restrooms. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't hold it. I have IBS. What do you want me to do? So that would be awkward for you, maybe, not me. That went right into my mouth. Anyways. That's what she said. Anyways, now they have their relationship. This shit is happening. They're getting together. And it's really good, right? They're having a really good relationship. But her ex-husband comes and to pick up their daughter. And he's kind of ticked off because he's like, there's paparazzi everywhere. And at this point, I'm not sure exactly when or where, but at some point, like Eva, his like younger girlfriend, has decided to leave his ass. And she stupidly asks Anne Hathaway if she wants to go get coffee, like, or sushi or some shit. And Anne Hathaway's like, girl, nah, like... You wrecked my life. Like, no hate. Like, it's not just your fault, obviously. But you did not care that you were with a married man. And you get what you pay for, ho. Like, I don't know what to tell you. But, like, you knew that he was married. You slept with him anyway. And y'all know my stance on blaming the other woman. I'm not saying that she's like, oh, that you're the reason that my marriage fell apart. But she's also like, you were very much aware that this man was married, that you were messing around with, and you did not care. And so you didn't care when you were imploding my life. And for that reason, we will not be friends and bond over the fact that he's a douchebag. Like, that's not gonna happen. I genuinely want to know what this girl was thinking when she did that. She was like, no, this would be great. And it's like, no, hun, this is not going to be cute. Like, we can't be friends. You know what I mean? And now that he's like single again, I don't think I like that at all. Not this one. No. Anyway, now that he's single again, he's like very much trying to call Anne Hathaway his wife and all of this shit. And she's like, nah, Bella. And she's like, it basically insinuates and tells him like, I wouldn't even met Nikki G if you had kept up your obligations to take your daughter to Coachella, but you didn't because you let work get in the way. And he's like, well, you know my work. And she's like, no, but it's always a choice. Things are always going to be a choice. So they're fighting. Daughter is feeling a little stressed and, you know, goes over to stay with her dad. And basically what starts to happen now is there is a situation going on with her daughter at school where like people are like the paparazzi and all of this like attention is getting to the daughter. It's starting to become embarrassing. And as such, even though she had originally agreed and consented to this relationship and was like on board 100%, having the guy that she likes a lot, like not want to be with her, and be like, tell your mom I turn 18 next week, which babe, I would be crushed. I wonder if I should put it more like this. Does that look like a booger? Because I feel like it does. Let's come up closer. Booger? I don't know why I yelled it at you, but booger? Booger. I just can't pull off cute nose jewelry. Listen. Anyway, now Anne Hathaway is like, I can't. And at this point, something has happened with Ollie, his bandmate, Nikki G's bandmate. And so he had to leave town and he's coming back. And at this point, you're seeing like Anne realize like, I can't keep doing this. Like my daughter is the center of my life, which is why I would never have children. Because you're not going to ruin my opportunity to like be with an international boy band. I cannot get this out of my nostril now. It's just like, it's stuck in here. I'm about to live my life like with this in here forever. Yes, I don't even know how I got it in. Please call the police. Just kidding. Don't call them. They'll kill me. Anne goes to pick him up and she hands him his watch. You know, the hostessery he had left behind for her. Y'all. I started breaking at this point. I was like, no, please don't do this to me again. Because when they broke up the first time, I couldn't handle it. They did it to me again. She was like, I can't do it. It's my daughter. Like, I can't. You know, it's just too much for her. And I can't do this to her. And I was like, bitch, please. Please don't do this to me. Please work through it. He was like, you're not going to fight for us. She was like, I just can't, you know. And so he drives off and she's at home now, just sad as shit. Like, as I would be too. I would be so sad, honestly. I would just like fall apart. And the thing is, she had also, let me rewind because I told y'all, you know, I can't tell a story in a linear fashion, and I just watched the movie and I didn't take notes. But as she is sitting there after, you know, she's had this like conversation with Izzy after picking her up from school and realizing like all the turmoil that her relationship with that Anne Hathaway's relationship is causing with Nikki G, she then goes online and she just starts seeing all of the things that people are saying about her, which, baby girl, you never go see what people are saying about you. Like, not ever, ever, ever on any planet do you go online and see what people are saying about you, because it's never going to be good. Nobody's ever going to be saying like, oh, the top comments are always going to be somebody saying something awful about you. And the comments, I'm not going to lie, they were awful. It was horrific and horrendous. And honestly, I wouldn't have handled that well. I would have cried. Her heart is broken, and baby, so was mine. I was like, please don't do this. Because like, I did not spend all this time getting invested in y'all's relationship for you to ruin it by breaking up. Like, who the hell do you think you are? You know what I mean? Who do you think you... Okay, Mr. Big Stuff. Who do you think you are? Anyways, but then she's sitting there, she's feeling heartbroken. She's like, I can't believe this. Like, it's terrible. And then she gets a text and it's like, open your door. And so she goes to the front door. It is, of course, Nikki G, as you would expect it to be. And he comes in and he's just like, why can't we just do this? Like, I can't. I love you, Celine. And she's like, I love you too. And listen, this scene is shot so beautifully. They do this thing where like while they're like kissing, basically like goodbye kisses. Not basically, they are goodbye kisses. They do this thing where while they're kissing, the lights like kind of change. And to me, it's like it goes through the light changes are like going through the phases of their relationship. And I kind of started to break a little bit. I was like, bitch, I know y'all are really trying to mess me up today. And I wasn't expecting that on my day off. So she then says to him, like, maybe in 5 years, you know, in 5 years, Izzy will be in school, in college, and it won't matter. Like, our lives can just be our lives, like, whatever. And I don't know if it's Anne Hathaway that says it or if it's Nikki G, because again, memory trash. But one of them says that, and I think it's him, because she says, no, that's too long. And if you find someone, if you find love, like, grab onto it. If you find happiness, grab onto it, because I will too, you know, whatever. And I was just like, no. And I'm not letting that fine ass little pale ass man go. Like, I'm gonna hold on to him with both my hands and my funny little toes. You know what I mean? I'm gonna grip him because I can pick things up with my feet. You know? I'm gonna hold him with with my fallopian tube phalanges, okay? So anyways, she just like, he leaves and she's crying, you're crying, we're all crying, and we're definitely not screaming for ice cream. It's just heartbreaking. And then they do the 5 years later thing, which I was really expecting that they're gonna do 5 years later where they like pass each other on the street, that shit. You know what I mean? The 5 years later, they pass each other on the street with their new partners and like, oh, remember that time we were together? But they don't. Instead, they do the 5 years later, and she's like looking him up, like she's doing like looking at TV or whatever, and she finds him on the Graham Norton show. And she sees that he's like making solo music now. And he has a beautiful song, which is very spot on. Basically a like what might have been song. Like what would life be like if you were mine right now? And when I tell you, spirits started soaring because I was like, girl, man still has it for you. It's 5 years later. He still loves you. Please give me what I want. And he says to Graham Norton that he's going to be taking a break from touring, and he's going to go to LA. And when Graham is like, why are you going in LA? What's in LA? And he's like, there's somebody there that I want to see. And so there is Anne Hathaway in her art gallery doing art gallery shit in her office again. I don't know what she's doing in that office. Like, I really don't. Like, what could be going on behind the scenes of your art gallery business? I'm not trying to be mean if you work in an art gallery. I'm just trying to understand what's going on behind the scenes that she has so much office work. Like, what is it? What are you doing? So I just need to know, like, what are you officing? What are you officing back there? Anyways, so back there officing, and every time she hears the door, she kind of like pops up a little bit. She's like, oh, oh. She gets a little overexcited, like almost every single time. And then finally, her assistant comes and is like, you're needed up front. And she goes out to front. You see the back of his head. You know it's Nikki G. It is Nikki G. He turns and he's like, hi. And tears spring to her eyes. And she's like, hi. She's smiling. And that's the end. Now, whilst I will say I did love this movie, it was a cute age gap romance. It had some very realistic aspects of it, which would definitely be like the internet being awful and hateful and all of that. Okay, I loved it. Like this movie made my heart pitter patter. But here's the thing that I'm getting tired of with rom-coms right now, and I need y'all to stop, okay? Because I just watched Made in Manhattan with the patrons and the channel members. I need y'all to stop giving me this like half-ass bullshit. All right. I need y'all to stop with the and I don't want to use my imagination. That's why I'm watching a movie. Okay. I need y'all to understand this. I'm watching a movie because I don't want to use my imagination and imagine what y'all's lives are like afterwards. I needed you to give me a full happily ever after. Okay. I needed to see them together 5 years later, like even if you did it in the frickin' fracking credits, I needed to see the joy. Y'all refused to give it to me. I'm pissed off. Because now I have to have it in my head, like, my imagination only works with me. You know what I mean? I'm the starring character in my fantasies and the world that I live in up here. And I don't want to, I'm glad that it's obvious that they're going to get back together and that like 5 years later, they still have the hots for each other. They still deeply love one another. I like that they didn't go like a lot of goofy routes with this. Also with like an age gap romance of her trying to be like hot stuff. One of the things that I also really, really liked is that there's a scene where Anne Hathaway says something, and I think it's in the preview too, where she says something to the effect of, I didn't know that my happiness was going to piss off so many people. And her friend says to her, didn't you know the world loathes a happy woman? And you know what? 100% like snaps. Yes, because the world does hate a happy woman. The world despises a happy woman. If a woman is happy, no matter what it is she's doing, somebody is always there to try to tear her down. And we know who that somebody is because it's not. Anyways, listen, it's going to be men, and it's also going to be women with internalized misogyny just being hating ass bitches. And we need to get rid of both of these things. You know what I mean? So I liked that. But I also really like that they didn't make this like cliche, like, oh my God, she's older and he's younger and like, rah, 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 rah. I also really enjoyed the aspect of them waiting the 5 years. Because to me, this is my opinion, I think that it shows that, you know, he's 24, his frontal cortex is maybe not fully developed. Is it cortex or lobe? Same difference? Who cares? I'm not a doctor. So I like that they did that, you know, because he was 24. Now he's almost 30 and he still has these deep feelings. And I like that they allowed that to be something that grew between them, because obviously she didn't move on either. She, you know, loved him so much. I really do hate that. Like, I get that her daughter can like give consent, take it away. But also, again, this is why I could never have kids. I almost wish that this movie did not have a child in it, but that's me. But because like, to me, it's just like, so you don't want your mom to be happy. Got it. But I get it. She's in high school. I get that they had to do that to be like, to have conflict or whatever, but also to show that Anne Hathaway was more concerned with her daughter's happiness than she was with her own. But I would say that I wish that there was a scene like when she's talking to her daughter in college, that her daughter kind of acknowledges that a little bit and is like, you know, I never did tell you thank you for putting me first. You didn't have to do that, because you could have been like a lot of parents who would have just been like, eat shit. I'm going to be happy, because her dad did that. I think that would have been like a nice circle back. I don't know any corporate speak anymore as well, because I don't corporate, but I think that would have been a nice circle back moment, because her dad totally did not take her into consideration when he started having an affair and all of this stuff. And her mom didn't take her into consideration when she first started hooking up with Nikki G. But now, you know, time has passed and she can look at it through 21-year-old eyes and be able to be like, you know, I'm really appreciative that you did that. You know, that would have wrapped it up for me. But if you want a cute, disgustingly sweet, heartbreaking ass movie to watch, I definitely recommend the movie. It is on Prime. It's so good. I don't know if they're ever going to move it to another streaming service. I never know how they, you know, because a lot of times this stuff just bounces in between, but some of the like Prime specialties don't. So if you don't have Prime, steal someone else's. I didn't say that also. So that's it. That is the thought of you, the idea of you, which it's not my fault. That's the idea of you. That is the movie. It is on Prime. If you want to watch it, if you want to break your heart, if you want to hurt your feelings, if you want to cry a little bit, and if you don't cry outwardly, but you like sob inwardly, this is the movie for you. Anne Hathaway looks gorgeous all the way through. Nikki G is doing the damn thing. 10 out of 10. Well, no, let me take that back. It's an 8 out of a 10 rom-com because I didn't get my happy ending. I had to take 2 points off for that. I needed to see how they were happy at the end, how they were together. I needed to see that. Y'all were messed up for doing that to me. All right. So if you like this video, go ahead and subscribe. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. If you didn't, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, thanks for dropping by. Appreciate it. And that's all. That's it. That's the video. Until next time, I am so pretty and so are you. Free Palestine.